Welcome back to Entertainment Talk. Today I'm here to do another film review, this one of which I actually saw in the cinema for the first time in a few months. I'm your host Matthew, and this is my review of Christopher Nolan's 2020 film called Tenet. I'm going to go to my skip, don't skip ratings. This is going to be a spoiler-free review, by the way, and I'm going to give this a skip rating. Now, part of me looks at this film and thinks, okay, I saw Inception, I saw the Dark Knight trilogy, I haven't seen Dunkirk yet, although I intend to do so, and I saw Tenet today. Part of me just thinks, okay, maybe I just don't get Christopher Nolan, and that's okay. That's perfectly fine. Maybe he just looks at, time travel stuff, mind-bending sort of stories. These, in terms of like Inception and Tenet, obviously, Dark Knight is a comic book film, and when I do eventually go and see Dunkirk, that'll obviously be the war film. But I look at what he's done with Inception and look at Tenet, which I do think have obviously things in common, like dream sequence stuff and time travel things, and that sort of sci-fi angle as opposed to the comic book sort of stuff that he's done with Batman and his trilogy. Part of me just thinks maybe I just don't get him. And that's okay. Does that mean I'm gonna miss the next film he does? No, I am interested in the work that he does, but I just don't think it quite works, and I think that's the case with Tenet here. Now I'm gonna start off with the positives. I think usually you'd get the negatives out of the way, but I want to talk about some positive stuff. Performances in this film are really, really good. I have seen quite a lot of Robert Pattinson in the last few days, of course, from the DC Fandom Batman trailer. I saw The Lighthouse earlier this week, and did the review for that as well, the spoiler-free review for that. Saw him here in Tenet as well. He's not the lead protagonist, but he is playing a character called Neil. Robert Pattinson's great in this film. I am very much looking forward to seeing, well, we know what he's going to do next. It's going to be the Batman. But other future films, I also need to backtrack a little bit with him and watch his sort of post-Twilight career as well, because he's just a different actor than that now, and he deserves a bit more credit. So I thought he was really, really good. Josh David Washington, who is called protagonist, a bit on the nose, but never mind. Thought he was really, really good. You got Elizabeth Debicki as Kat. You've got Clement Posey as Barbara. You've even got Michael Caine in here as well. You've got Andrew Howard, who plays as Stefan or Stephen. Performances are not a problem with this film. Another thing this film does pretty well is it does have some good action, but some of it is it's not pulled off quite the way I think it should be, and part of that feeds into the more sci-fi angle and the timey-wimey stuff and this whole premise of what this Tenet thing is, which I'm not going to get too much into because of spoilers and stuff. But yeah, the more basic action in this show, pretty good. In this film, sorry, pretty good. I enjoyed that for the most part. I thought that was good. There's a few scenes with, I'd just say time travel stuff, because I don't want to keep saying timey-wimey, with time travel stuff and with reversing things as well, where the action does come off pretty good. Sorry, there's one particular scene where they try to do this sort of double-sided story on like two different sides of a piece of glass, and I thought it was quite bad. It is at times. I think that this film is trying too hard to be too clever and think like, oh, look at this like reverse time stuff that we're doing, and like, oh, this character knows that this is going to happen, so they have to sort of stop it, or this thing hasn't happened yet, but there's the marks in the glass where there's going to be bullet holes and that sort of stuff. And I just don't think it's not as smart as what it wants to be, and maybe as smart as what Christopher Nolan wants it to be. I'm not saying he's dumb or whatever. He's good at doing certain films and stuff, but like I said, this film's got a couple of problems with that.
Hey guys, what's up? This is Donnie, and I host the Adulting with Donnie podcast. And this is not the show to listen to if you're trying to be a better adult. I started this podcast as a way to offload some thoughts that I have throughout the week. My topics vary widely every week. Movies I've seen, guns and gun control, sex, people that are stupid, why I don't care about celebrity opinions, TV shows, snowmobiling. The list goes on and on. I'm always taking topic suggestions from fans of the show too. So join me each week on Adulting with Donnie as I pour some bourbon and allow you to see the inner workings of the mind of a madman. Live free and rant hard.
I'm Christy.
And I'm Jackie.
And we are Killer Fun. We explore the intersection of crime and entertainment every other week.
For as long as people have been communicating, they have been talking about who did what to whom, and is that socially acceptable?
Because the boundaries of society,
crime,
and entertainment have always gone hand in hand.
The more salacious,
or weird,
the better. From books and movies
to television shows and games,
we look at how life and art imitate and inform one another.
And we can't get together and not laugh. So let's face it, there's going to be laughing.
Killer Fun is available anywhere you listen to podcasts, so join us.
Today's sponsor is Kualu. If you'd like to get started with a domain name and a website today, just click on the link in the show notes and that will take you over to Kualu to get started. They also have a live support chat system that you can use, which is in the bottom right hand corner. So get started with a new website and domain name today with Kualu. Hey everybody, if you would like to get the ad-free versions of all of our podcasts and support Entertainment Talk along the way, all you need to do is head over to patreon.com/entertainment talk. Sign up either as a creator or as a Patreon. There's no difference there. That's just the option for either becoming a creator now or just staying as a patron for the moment. And then all you need to do is support us at the $1 level tier. That will get you access to all of the ad-free podcasts that we've done in the past, and get you access to all the ad-free podcasts in that month as well. So it's a great way to support us on Entertainment Talk and to get rid of the ads and get your ad-free podcasts. You can also become a patron at the $3 level tier. That gets you access to ad-free podcasts and allows you to redeem a review of a TV show or a film of entirely your choice. That's one per month for either a TV show or a film review, which is at the $3 level tier. As always, thank you very much for listening. Back to the show. There's a section in the film as well where they completely go with this whole reverse time kind of thing, and it sort of works, but not really. Another thing that I don't think works very well with this film, it's 2.5 hours long now. Christopher Nolan is known for doing fairly long films. I thought I'd sat there for like 5 hours. I just kept thinking, like, okay, when is this film going to end? And sometimes, you know, if you want to go for a big, ambitious, which this film is very ambitious, if you want to go for a big, long, ambitious film, which this tries to be, you've got to know when you've kind of outstayed your welcome a little bit, and when your story is going on a particular track, but you're just taking too long to get there because you've just put too many things in there, and you've got too many things to conclude, and yeah, it parts of this story kind of just outstay their welcome, I think, as well. But that's another kind of problem this film sort of has. But moving on to some of the well, I've talked about kind of a mixture here of positive and negative. I tried to do one and then the other, but it didn't quite work. Just like what this film sort of tries to do. Look, I don't think this film's terrible. I don't think it's necessarily worth seeing. Now, I'm going to reiterate that my skip don't skip system means, okay, I'm not telling you that you have to skip this film. As part of my review, it's the recommendation, because when you go to review something, you're essentially telling somebody whether or not you recommend something, and that's just part of that system. I'd recommend you potentially skip this film and, I don't know, watch something else maybe. But if you want to go and see Tenet, and you like Christopher Nolan stuff, and you liked Inception, I think as well the chances are right, because I've just said I didn't like Inception and that. I don't think it's terrible, I just didn't particularly like it. I think if you liked Inception more, you probably will enjoy this more than me. So that is kind of got that going for it as well, I'd say. So yeah, this is kind of, this really reminds me of like Hideo Kojima and some of his games. If you either kind of do or don't get Death Stranding, same with Metal Gear. Obviously, with Kojima's work's a lot more weird than what Christopher Nolan tries to do, but still, there's certain, you know, directors and developers and people like that out there that make very particular, you know, films and games. Christopher Nolan, Hideo Kojima, and some people get them, Some people don't. I really like Kojima's work. I think he's done some really, really great stuff. You know, Metal Gear Solid, Death Stranding, all those other sorts of games. And Christopher Nolan here with Inception and Tenet. And I just don't quite get him. Like I said, I'm going to watch his future films and that, but just didn't quite get this. And there was genuinely certain parts of this film where the characters tell you what they're going to do. They go to do it. It makes it a little bit predictable. And then you're sort of sitting there waiting for it to kind of happen. And I felt bored as a result. And now I'm not a person that gets bored, really, because I just don't tend to really get bored necessarily. But yeah, again, that feeds into pacing, the film being too long, the film kind of being weirdly predictable in certain places, considering this is a Christopher Nolan film. But overall, I just didn't particularly like it. I just thought it was too long, poorly paced. You knew where certain things were gonna go, which I didn't actually expect. Because some parts of this film I genuinely didn't understand, and other parts I was like, okay, we know what's kind of gonna maybe go down here, which was a weird kind of feeling to sort of have watching this. So yeah, that is what it is, I guess. But yeah, like I said, great performances when the action is more grounded. It's great. Characters are likable for the most part. There is some good time travel reverse time stuff that they do here. Some of it is good, but not enough of it. And they kind of set the premise up of what this Tenet thing even is and how some of it works. And I understood like how it worked and everything. I thought that they would actually use it a little bit more. In the 2.5 hours that this film goes on for, I kept waiting and thinking, like, okay, are you going to use this thing that you've set as a kind of guiding thing for the world? And there is large sections of the film where they use it, but I just thought that they might do it a little bit more. Because I remember watching Inception, and that was like a constant kind of thing throughout it. So there we go. But for any of you that have or haven't seen Tenet, is it available to watch in your country or where you live or whatever? Because I know that not all theatres are open at the moment, or cinemas as we call them here in the UK. So are you intending to watch it? If you did, what do you think? Let me know. You can send in those thoughts, feelings, questions, comments, maybe concerns. Matthew at entertainmenttalk.org, Twitter eTalkUK. There's a contact page and information in your show notes. Don't think I've got anything else left to say for Tenet. I don't feel the need to do any spoiler talk for this. Like I said, I didn't hate it. I didn't like it. It was good, all right in places. Some parts of it I enjoyed a lot more than others, but overall I didn't particularly enjoy my time with it. So that's perfectly fine. You know, if you enjoyed Tenet more than me, or maybe less than me, that's also perfectly fine as well. So yeah, I think I've pretty much said everything I need to for Tenet. I am next week possibly on Monday, planning to finally see New Mutants, which is something I didn't think I'd maybe say this year. But yeah, there's cinema times listed for it and everything. On Monday, the film was obviously supposed to be out 2 years ago. So was The Flash, but let's not talk about that right now. So that's the next film I'm planning on seeing anyway, whether it's Monday or Tuesday or at some point next week. That's the next film. After that, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to look up other films and things afterwards as well. After I've seen New Mutants and whatnot, see what's out there. I know that Unhinged is out there. I'm not in a particular rush to see that. Also had a bit of a sort of sigh moment when I went into cinema, which by the way was laid out really well and was running really well and that sort of stuff. You know, face masks, gloves, that sort of stuff. The staff were cleaning and cleaning different surfaces and all that sort of stuff. You know, there was markings on the floor. So in terms of me actually feeling safe at the cinema, that worked pretty well. The point that I'm talking about is when I went upstairs, because I was in Screen 7, which is upstairs, and I went up there and there was a poster for A Quiet Place Part 2, March 19th, and I just sort of sighed a little bit because that's my most anticipated film of the year. And yeah, of course nobody did see that in March, and we're now in August, almost in September, so that just made me a little bit sad. But you know, it will be here sooner or later. But anyway, yes, look out next week for my review for New Mutants. No idea really what to expect. I'm interested in it, certainly. but we'll see how everything kind of plays out. So we shall see. But in the meantime, you can find everything that we've got on entertainmenttalk.org. If you want to support the podcast and Entertainment Talk, we are on Patreon. You can have a look at the $1 and $3 level tiers for ad-free podcasts, review, and instant podcast options as well. Amazon affiliate link: if you're buying stuff on Amazon, we can get a small cut of what you spend, but it won't cost you extra. iTunes feeds, please have a look at those, rate, review, and subscribe if you search for Entertainment Talk on your favorite podcast platform. You can also search for Geektown, run by David, of course, for your latest TV and film news, up-to-date, reliable TV and film news. You can also listen to Geektown Radio on Tuesdays weekly. You'll obviously see that on the on Geektown Radio on iTunes and things. You can also go to geektown.co.uk and find everything there for your TV and film news. Barry's on Talk and Stalk on YouTube, so if you search for that on YouTube, you should be able to find his channel for all your horror podcast rankings, discussions, etc., etc. Bex is streaming daily on Twitch for some geeky chatter and gaming and all sorts of other cool stuff. If you search for Trista Bytes, that's Trista BYTES, you can look for her, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. Word of mouth, you can tell people that you know about the website, your iTunes feeds, and everybody else's work. Social media, Facebook and Twitter, and if you can, in different Facebook groups. Let's Play Sundays will be back soon. Have a look out for that. But in the meantime, thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you next time, either for New Mutants or something else. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.